to continue opening comments.
Thank you, Madam President. You know, this amendment is an important amendment. I think it's one of the things that most people have been pointing to, and I believe it's been an attempt by the majority party to fix it. And that's having young girls especially work in an establishment where it's mainly just drinking and the consuming of alcoholic beverages. And I know a little bit about it. My mother had a bar for 40 years, and I spent a lot of time in there actually helping out, and had a niece that was 18 years old that was there, and I watched our patrons, after they've been drinking for most of the day, hit on her and make all kinds of sexual innuendos. And so I think this amendment is important. Now, there is some language in here that's confusing. And I believe that the tavern owners and restaurant owners need to know what this stuff means. And that's the reason why I asked this question. What does incidental to the consumption of alcohol beverages mean when you're referring to eating something? And I asked Senator Dickey to yield, and back before, he didn't want to do it. And so, Madam President, I'm going to ask him again. I think this is very important. I would like Senator Dickey to yield to questions that I think need to be answered.
Senator Dickey, will you yield?
No.
Senator Dotzler, you're in order.
Okay. Well, that's very disappointing. I don't know what's going on. You know, I've been in this chamber longer than any other senator. We have 2 members in here that served longer than I have. But I've been in the Senate. Now this is my 17th year. And I have never experienced a floor manager refusing to yield to a question that's central to the bill. This isn't some I gotcha thing. I think it's an important point. So if you won't yield, I'd like to ask Senator Whitford to yield, Madam President.
Senator Whitford, will you yield?
No.
Senator Dotzler, you're in order.
Well, I'm in shock. So it's my understanding then that any bill that we got comes before this body that the minority party has a question about, a part of it that can affect the people that are involved, the restaurant association, taverns, pubs, you name it, that we can't ask questions that's going to relate to their livelihood? Who do we ask? Should I go around and, Senator Whitford, I know you're not going to yield, but I guess this is a hypothetical question. Should I go around and ask every individual senator in this chamber whether they can answer a question? We had a bill up earlier where the leader, the floor manager of the bill, did answer a question. I don't know what's going on. I mean, is this democracy? Is that what's going on? We're passing bills out of this chamber for appropriations that have no numbers in it. The public gets cut out, and now we're cutting the public out because I, as a senator, cannot ask a single question of any majority party member about a bill that affects people's lives. Now, you tell me that that's right. It's It's never, ever been right before. I want to know what changed. I want to know what changed. So if my fellow senators won't ask questions, I still got these questions. What does it mean? What does food mean? I think that the fact that it says food on here doesn't stop this from occurring, that young girls could be working in a tavern. I think this amendment, a pizza is considered food. It's a meal. I go to the tavern in West Des Moines to get a meal. Guess what I order? A pizza. And a lot of times in small towns, that's the only place you can get food, a pizza. But you sit in a bar and drink, and these patrons can hit on these young girls, not only hit on them, follow them out. I had people follow my niece out of the bar and wanted to ask her questions, like, what are you doing? And she was 18. This bill says 17 and 16-year-olds. So I got real questions about this. And Madam President, if the senators won't yield to this, I need to talk to some attorneys to find out what the heck this stuff means and what are the implications. I know some of you senators in here are decent people, and I don't believe you believe in this. If we were in the majority, I would expect you to ask me questions, and no matter how hard they have been, and it's always operated this way. It's always operated this way. You yield. And I've been in here before when they've asked questions of the majority party and the person said no. Guess what the leadership did? They got them to yield. They don't have to say much. What's going on? Is this the end of democracy? It's all about totalitarianism. We're in control of everything so we can do whatever the heck we want. And the public don't need to know, and the restaurant association don't need to know, and taverns and pub owners don't need to know about their liability. So, Madam President, because nobody will answer a question, and I can't find attorneys at this time of night, I want to defer on this bill.
Senate File 542 will be deferred.